Elsewhere, a military court in South Sudan has opened the trial of 13 soldiers charged with raping foreign aid workers and murdering a local journalist in the capital Juba last July. The suspects appeared in court wearing a variety of uniforms to indicate their attachment to different units, including 4 in the colors of Tiger Division, which guards the president. Military spokesman Abubakar Mohammed Ramadan says that the soldiers are also facing charges of looting and damaging property. The Human Rights Watch report says that on July the 11th, government forces attacked a compound housing some 50 employees of foreign organizations. It says the soldiers killed a prominent journalist, raped or gang raped several international and national staff of organizations, and destroyed and extensively looted property. The soldiers are said to have killed the journalist presumably because of his Nuer ethnicity. Civil war broke out in South Sudan in June last year after President Salva Kiir accused his former deputy, Riek Machar, of plotting a coup. The United Nations Human Rights Office says it has documented reports of human rights violations on a massive scale in the Central African Republic. These abuses were reportedly carried out by successive government troops, local and foreign armed groups, and international defense forces. A total of 620 cases are set out in detail, among them multiple accounts of gang rapes of women and girls as young as 5, deaths in detention due to severe torture, and entire villages being burnt to the ground in reprisals. The UN says the C.A.R. has suffered political instability, corruption, and nepotism for years. This has led to armed conflicts during which violations amounting to war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed, and for which no one has been held accountable.
What I have encountered, what everybody has encountered who works in this country, is the extremely widespread desire on the part of almost everybody in the country to see justice happen, and justice for everyone, not just from one community or another, to see that justice does not spare anybody. That is the real point. That is why it documents very, very carefully the crimes that have been committed, that have been brought to our attention. 1,200 pieces of either confidential or public information that have come our way have been carefully documented. The point is to send a signal to those, particularly the gros poissons, those who are instructing their people to carry out these massacres and rapes, that this will no longer be tolerated, that it has been watched, that they are being watched, that we have documented their crimes and will continue to document their crimes. It covers a period that goes up until 2015, but those who you pointed out, that those who have committed these awful acts during that period, some of them are continuing to do it, that's for sure. But so even if the acts that they're committing now are not in this report, we are still continuing to document them. We're still watching very, very carefully what they're doing, and what they are doing is being recorded.
In East Africa, the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has kicked off his official campaign for re-election with a rally in Nairobi. He also echoed a call by main challenger Raila Odinga to avoid the violence that followed voting a decade ago. Kenyatta led a lively procession of luxury sports utility vehicles around the city to reach the rally held after the Electoral Board cleared his candidacy for the August poll. Many Kenyans are concerned about possible election-linked violence. More than 1,200 people were killed in 2007 after Odinga called for protest following the vote that year, and later degenerated into ethnic-based violence. Let's expand this conversation. Teddy Otieno joins us live from Nairobi. You're welcome to Network Africa. Well, what's the mood like in Kenya now that the presidential candidates have launched their election campaigns? What's the mood like in Kenya, if you can hear me now that the candidates have launched their election campaigns?
Hello? Sorry?
Yes, I can hear you. I asked you what the mood is like in Kenya. Is it a celebration for the candidates and their supporters now that the campaigns have started in earnest?
All right. If you can hear me, Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead. Oh, we seem to be having connection problems with Teddy. When we correct that, we'll get back to him. But let's just move on now. We'll go to Egypt, where the government has issued a new law that regulates the work of non-governmental organizations, a measure seen by rights groups as the latest sign of a growing crackdown on dissent against President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Human rights groups and activists say the law in effect bans their work and makes it harder for charities to operate. The measure restricts NGO activity to developmental and social work and introduces a jail term of up to 5 years for non-compliance. The law also gives NGOs a year to comply or face being dissolved by a court. Parliament passed the bill in November, but it had to be ratified by President Sisi. Egyptian rights activists say that they face the worst crackdown in their history under Sisi, accusing him of erasing freedoms won in the 2011 Arab Spring uprising that ended Hosni Mubarak's 30-year rule. The Egyptian Foreign Minister Sami Sukri says military training camps in Libya are a direct threat to Egypt's national security, and this comes days after Egyptian airstrikes targeted the camps in eastern Libya. Egypt's Air Force began the strikes just hours after masked men killed 29 Christians at a monastery in the southern Egyptian province of Minya on Friday. Speaking at a news conference with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Sokri said that the attack proved Libyan militants were capable of targeting Egypt. The Foreign Minister added that Egypt looks forward to Russia utilizing all of its available capabilities to work together to get rid of terrorism.